What's up, everybody? It's your boy TGK back with another reaction video. Today we're going to react to Six Man's video talking about these aren't the same Dallas Mavericks. You already know, like watching Dallas Mavericks content, seeing what people say about my Mavericks. So enough of the fluff. Let's get to the stuff. Here we go. Again, the title of this video is These Aren't the Same Dallas Mavericks. This video is by Six Man. Let's go ahead and let's check it out. It's going to be the first, I think I've seen a Six Man video before, but I can't quite recall. But let's go and let's watch this together and react together.
Year, this happened.
Waving his teammates up. I don't need any help. Oh, Collins! JC put the Mavericks to sleep and fired a strike on a line to Collins.
Yes, despite 37 points from Luka Doncic, the Dallas Mavericks lost in unthinkable fashion to the Utah Jazz, taking their record to 5-7 on the season. And there was some pretty nasty discourse about Luka in particular and his defense, not just on that final play, but over the course of that entire game and the start of the season. Well, since that game, the Mavericks have won 10 of their last 11 games, 5 of which were without Luka Doncic, and after a slow start to the year, they look like one of the best teams in the NBA, ranking 3rd for offense, 6th for defense, and 1st for net rating. And most importantly, it's the way the Mavs have won these games. I mentioned the absence of Luka Doncic, which some people use as a way to
Why say it like that? Luka Doncic. Yeah, you got the little rasp at the end. Got the little rasp at the end. That's a you. And a little dramatic effect, you know?
Land to him, but this wasn't a case of Luka being out, or even Kyrie averaging 40 points a game, although don't get it twisted, Kyrie has been phenomenal. But more importantly, this was a result of the Mavericks having the most balanced and deep team we have seen since Luka Doncic was drafted. And that is saying something, considering this team was in the NBA Finals just last year. But that didn't stop.
Great point. Great point. This Mavericks team was in the finals last year, and now they are the most balanced, best team Luka Doncic has ever had. Nico Harrison cooked. Jason Kidd starting to coach. I'm just saying. You know, when I called for that tank a couple of years ago when we first got Kyrie, I was called the madman. I was called crazy. I said, you need to take a step back to take 2 steps forward. And what did we do? You know? So maybe I am the mastermind behind Nico Harrison and y'all just don't know. Just saying, you know, let's continue.
Stop them from getting better. And 2 of those guys who have made them better are Najee Marshall and Quentin Grimes. I mean, guys, I thought Najee Marshall was a great signing, like I'm sure a lot of people did, but I had no idea he was capable of averaging 23 a game on 63% from the field and 55% from 3, which is exactly what he did in that 4-game stretch without Luka prior to being sick versus Utah. And it wasn't just a 4-game stretch. Following the first 6 games of the year, where Najee struggled, he's averaged over 15 points a game on nearly 60% from the field since then. And what I really like about Najee is he's just a quick decision maker. Look at him here get the ball with his back to Bridges. It's that quick step inside and then the floater. Or in this play where the ball gets swung to him in the corner, he takes Cat off the dribble, getting to the middle of the floor, and it's that floater again. And yeah,
that floater's so damn automatic. It is crazy. Like, you know, when he is in the paint area, you know it's automatic. You know it's going in. You already know. Like I know for some of us Mavs fans that are new to Najee, we were all like, "Oh, is that a shot?" And then you see it is his shot. You ain't even worried no more. Like, get in the paint, young fella. Get in there, bro.
Yes, you will quickly realize that Najee Marshall loves that push shot and floater. All he needs to get is that first step on his defender, whether that's off a closeout from 3-point range, in transition, or even sometimes with a post-up. And this works so well when you have guys like Kyrie and Luka who can create that initial advantage. And this right here is the difference between this version of Dallas and the ones we've seen from the past. You have guys that are capable of capitalizing on advantages in ways that past Mavericks couldn't. But before we talk about that, let's thank the sponsor of today's video.
Let's not.
Legged step than with my Dallas Mavericks and favorable matchup like Six Man. And when you have the most talented,
you know, I don't do gambling stuff. Maybe personally in my personal time, But I'm not going to push gambling to y'all. Like, we already got enough issues as it is, ladies and gentlemen. But if you want my... Never mind, I ain't going to tell y'all my codes. Anyway, let's go and continue the video.
Backcourt in NBA history, you're gonna get good looks, and that's not necessarily just wide open threes, it includes all kinds of different plays, and this Mavs roster is so well equipped to take advantage. Watch here as Kyrie draws two Heat defenders. He kicks it to PJ, and instead of settling for the three, he uses that advantage to take Harkes Jr. off the dribble, getting to his spot to float it in. Or in this play where Kyrie gives the handoff to PJ, Mikal is so focused on Kyrie that he doesn't communicate with OG, letting PJ get straight past him and to the rim. We all know what Kyrie and Luka can do when it comes to scoring for themselves or creating wide open threes. I mean, we've seen Luka dice up elite teams with Trey Burke, Boban Marjanovic, and Tim Hardaway Jr. on the floor, but this team goes to a different level when you combine that wizardry with players who only need a step to get downhill or to their spot. Like,
do y'all remember the days where Dallas Mavericks only had one ball handler and it was Luka Doncic and everyone else was Tim Hardaway Jr., Dorian Finney-Smith, or Bullock, or Trey Burke. Trey Burke could ball handle it, but Luka went from having nobody that could dribble the ball and create their own shot to having multiple people that could get the ball, pump fake, and dribble and create something out of it. I'll give you a list. PJ, Kyrie, Spencer Dinwiddie, Najee Marshall, Quentin Grimes, Dante Exum when he's back, Jaden Hardy when he's here. That's 7 players that can literally get the ball and go do something with it, as opposed to what Luka had in the past. So now Luka doesn't have to carry so much of the load. And like you saw last night against the Wizards, which it's the Wizards, so take it with a grain of salt. The man only had to score 21 points and they won by 36. That tells you how deep the Dallas Mavericks team is, that everyone else can eat and all you got to do is just be out there and keep the offense running, play defense, and you're going to get a dub because everyone else can contribute. And I think as the season goes along, the chemistry is going to get better and everyone's going to be able to trust everybody even better, especially when Luka was out for those 5 games. It helped the chemistry speed up, and that's where they are. And I think after the trade deadline, you're going to see exactly what this team has become, and you'll be able to make a good assessment of whether we're going to win the championship at that point. But, you know, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves.
PJ Washington, Najee Marshall, and Quentin Grimes. This was another off-season move who looks like a good pickup, but similar to Najee Marshall, who thought he could go off in the way he did over that stretch of games without Luka. And with Luka back in the lineup, he's going to continue to be great as a knockdown three-point shooter, a smart cutter, and a willing defender. And there were signs he could be this level of player when you look at what he did in his second year in New York, but after struggling last year in Detroit and New York, before then even receiving a DNP in a game for Dallas this year against Denver, it looked like his chances of being a high-level bench player or even a starter might have been passing. Well, if the last 10 games are anything to go by...
You know, it's crazy to even consider that Quentin Grimes had a DNP. Quentin Grimes had a DNP this year, and that is because Jason Kidd at the time was coaching like an idiot, okay? Yeah, it's boo Jason Kidd at that time, but I'm glad Jason Kidd figured it out, and now we can sit here and, you know, be happy and celebrate, you know? Thanks, Jason Kidd. You snapped into it and gave this man DNPs, man. What's wrong with you, bro?
I think he's going to be a very, very good player. And more importantly, he's only making a combined $10 million over the next 2 years. For reference, Tim Hardaway Jr. is making $16 million this year alone. Shout out Nico Harrison, because he has continued to dominate through free agency and through trades. But before we mention more of the Mavs supporting pieces, let's just appreciate Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. Luka Luka hasn't played the best basketball of his career this season. We all know that, but he has looked fantastic the last few games, and when I say he's been below his standards, 29, 8 and 8 would be a career year for pretty much every single player in NBA history. Luka is just that good that we expect even more. Kyrie Irving, on the other hand, well, he might not fill up the box score like Luka does, but just the efficiency at which this man has been playing with has been absurd.
49%.
And what separates Kyrie as a scorer from an efficiency standpoint, in addition to his three-point shooting, is what he does in that short mid-range. Not the 18-footers that he can and will make, but it's the push shots, the floaters, the short mid-range shots, which he makes from the free throw line and in, which almost no one else can do, particularly at his size. In fact, that is really a strength of so many of the Mavs players, and it's perfect for the modern NBA, because whilst people tell you the mid-range is dead, the shot which isn't efficient is a mid-range shot that is 2 feet within the three-point line, because you may as well just take a three instead. But when you are getting 2 feet in the paint and taking floaters or push shots, or in Kyrie's case, he can do whatever, but when you are getting that close to the rim, that is an efficient shot, and the Mavs excel at that. And speaking of efficient scoring, the Mavs have done all of this whilst Klay Thompson is having the worst year of his career. And I know what you're about to say. He's washed, he's old, he sucks, and maybe that's true. But what I...
Whoa. I don't think it's true. I think there's a bit of a hot take there. Just give him more time, man. Give him more time. Klay's gravity by itself is worth everything in gold, or whatever that phrase is. It's just worth it. Whatever we pay for it is worth in the weight of gold. Am I saying that correctly, Sylvester? You let me know. But Klay's gravity is the reason why Kyrie is getting these wide open looks. Klay's gravity is helping our offense, even though he's not shooting to his prime levels of like 40% from the three-point line. It'll come around. It'll come around. Give it time, man. Give it time.
I will say is after watching him closely in Golden State the last few years, a few things were clear. He could not move how he used to on defense, but his shooting, his gravity, and even his playmaking from those things were all still elite. And I refuse to believe that just fell off. Guys, the last 3 years following those injuries, he shot nearly 40% from three on nearly 10 attempts per game. You can question the defense all you want, but at some point in time, Klay is going to go on a stretch of games where he is lights out from three-point range. And when you add that to the mix of players that the Mavs already have, things could get even more scary. And honestly, when you look at who the Mavs have beat over this stretch of games, in comparison to a team like the Bucks and who they beat, it's hard not to look at this Mavs team as a finals contender and a championship contender yet again. When you look at the star power they have, the rim protection of Derek Lively, who's been fantastic recently, and the depth with guys like PJ, Grimes, Gaff, Najee, and now even a resurgent Spencer Dinwiddie. Yes, this team is good. This team is really, really good, and the fact they're better than they were last year says a lot. Now, if you made it all the way to the end of the...
All right, we did make it all the way to the end. Appreciate Six Man. You know what Six Man reminded me of? I don't know if y'all ever seen Ants Canada or Canada Ants. I think it's Ants Canada. His videos, it kind of gave me that vibe, like the voiceover with the dramatic music and the highlights. He's the basketball version of Ants Canada. No, but it was a good video, good breakdown. I appreciate all the highlighting of Quentin Grimes and Luka and just the team in general and how good this team is, and this being Luka's best team he's been surrounded by. So yeah, really good video, good breakdown, and on to the next one, man. Again, appreciate y'all watching. It's been your boy TGK. If y'all don't mind dropping a like on the video, consider subscribing, all that good stuff. If you want to reach me directly, Discord and the link below is free, brothers and sisters. It's free. Hit me up, chit chat there. You can send me suggestions on any video or content you want me to do. Appreciate you watching. Catch you on the next one.